Hey everyone, I am Dana Blickensturfer and this is Art Talks. We are at the Morean Art Center today with Amanda Cooper, the Curator of Exhibitions here at the center. Welcome. And our host today, Reagan Cosper. Welcome everybody. Thank you ladies for coming today for this beautiful Art Talks edition. But first, before we get started, we like to do a little icebreaker to mix things up. We're going to do a self-portrait battle of the portraits. So you get one brush, and one big brush, one little brush. You get one kind of medium brush and one small brush. And they have about 3 minutes, let's say 4 minutes to do a portrait of each other. And we have working with 3 colors, white, black, and one accent color blue. So you might have to get up and have to kneel.
Squat. We're gonna get our our workout for the day.
Just move that. This will be fun.
Alright. Oh, sorry.
Are you good? You're just gonna want to get into that. Ready? So I'll let you know when you can start.
If I'm not beautiful, I'm gonna be offended.
I will do my best.
Okay,
so
ready?
I'm left-handed, so I need it to stand.
Okay.
Wait, no. I'll just
you
do
good?
this. No, I'm good. Can I sit like this?
Yeah, you're good. We can sit to the top of your head.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be starting in 10 seconds.
This is a lot of pressure.
No worries. I know it is fun though. We're gonna put this in the museum. Yes, it is. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Go. Ooh, it's so beautiful music.
Sorry.
Oh, this is like the music or themes that next time we will silence it. Then that kind of was perfect timing.
Sorry.
So, Amanda, do you do other arts as well? Are you?
No, I started out as an art major in college, which you won't know from this right now.
Yeah.
But then I took an art history class, a survey, and just fell in love with art history. It was never something I had thought about, analyzing art. I just loved art, looking at it. And my first art history class, I had a great teacher at St. Pete Junior College. And
you fell in love with the history of it.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Are you the type of person that absorbs the dates and the eras? And
yes.
I'm not that person.
Well,
I forget names, dates. I'm like, which century are we talking about? Do you feel like that has to be a strength, or you just?
Yeah, it
came natural.
Yeah, I'm kind of hesitating because the older I get, I don't remember anything. But yes, I was the type that kind of had not a photographic memory, but I had a really good memory for dates, and I loved the whole memorizing thing.
Really, yeah.
Sitting in a dark room and looking at slides, because we had slides back then.
Oh yeah, the old
slides that go like carousel.
Yeah. My dad still has one. We used to look at them pretty frequently up until I was in college. He's like, let's sit down together and use this thing. It makes that noise.
Yes.
Oh wow!
And you have to make the room pitch black.
That's really cool.
It is.
Yeah,
it's coming back.
It's very soothing.
It is soothing. Actually.
Yeah, every time I see a slide projector, we have one here at the art center, and it's I have a fondness for it.
Yeah, it's a memory, nostalgia. You have 1 minute.
Oh no, I'm not done yet.
Making your hair really big.
Wow, I love that.
Okay, I'm excited.
Wait, I'm not using all the colors.
You get lost in the one color, the blue. Don't forget your other brush.
Oh, right, I've been holding it. I forgot about it.
Okay, for the rest of the 30 seconds, you have to use the other brush.
Oh man, okay.
I'll hold that if you want. Okay. I can take that out of your hands so you don't feel pressure.
Oh, that's already there.
You both went for the little brush too, which is funny.
I forgot your neck.
It's
I feel like I just drew me.
You are so full of yourself.
Yeah.
Like obsessed with me.
I'm obsessed with me.
Okay. Every artist that I've ever not accepted into a show is going to be like,
They won't see this, don't worry. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1, stop!
Wow.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm so surprised.
That looks
This
so
is
good.
amazing. This is not bad too. Look at the nose. I love it.
It's me.
It is you. That does look like you.
We're like twins.
What is this?
I don't. It's me. It was like more.
So we're both being rated.
Yeah. Today's
rated.
portrait is just me.
There you go.
No, this looks like a doll.
Yeah.
It's so like soft and precious.
See, now I'm not mad anymore. You made me beautiful.
I love it. Thank you.
It's going to take me the rest of this session to get up off the floor. Okay.
All right, let's silence your phone before we continue. That was fun. Oh yeah, you're good. You can cut it. Try it again. That does look exactly.
I know.
like
I
you.
didn't even realize I was doing it until the hair, and I was like, we have the same kind of side swoosh.
Did you recently do your own portrait for something? That was like in your memory, ingrained in your, or you just
No, I just was looking at her for some reason, painting me.
That's kind of fun though. It's like a self-reflection off of you.
I know. That's sweet.
Well, that was a fun challenge.
That was.
Thank you for doing that with us.
Yeah.
We always like to see what people create.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So they're going to be here the whole time? with
Yeah,
nothing?
well, you can kind of see them.
Essentially, I'm gonna come home with a whole bunch of me.
You.
Like,
She'll have a show of just like, wow.
it's just all Reagan.
Nice.
So, Amanda, you're the curator of exhibitions here at the Morean Art Center. So, can you walk us through your typical day? Like, what happens here?
Day in the life.
A day in the life. Every day is different, which is great, especially for me, because I tend to, do the same things over and over again. So this job is actually a daily challenge for me in a good way. In any given day, we are dealing with all kinds of exhibitions in the gallery. We're dealing with the one that's in the gallery at the time. There might be a gallery talk once the show is up. There's always things happening. We're also planning for the show that's next. We change out our shows usually every other month. Sometimes it's every month.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, we do probably 30 to 40 exhibitions a year.
Wow.
So it's a lot.
You're pumping out.
Yeah.
shows
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking in the future about dialing that back a little bit, having the shows be longer.
But it creates a lot of foot traffic.
It does. It does. It's
assuming.
always, people come in obviously when they hear of a new show. So on any given day, I'm doing something to work with the show that we have up at the moment. I'm looking at the show we have coming up, seeing, okay, what needs to be done for that. Then there's a show hot on the heels of that show. So any given day, I'm really spinning a bunch of plates in the air, trying to figure out, okay, what needs to be done for all these shows coming up in the next year. Whether it's, okay, the show in January needs a contract, or I need to post something on the website about the one that's in November. It's always something.
So walking in your shoes for the day, do you like have a calendar and you like sift through like shows a year from now, shows tomorrow, and then you have like tasks at a different range of... you just balance it, you're just a natural balancer?
I'm neither. I want to be the first person that you just mentioned, and now that I have a new person that works with me in exhibitions, so I'm seeing things through his eyes and trying to be a little more organized, because I have a lot of things just in my head. I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
So I kind of know what to do, but now trying to explain that to somebody else. So I did make a list recently of
like an SOP kind of.
Yeah, these are all the things that need to be done and when for any given show.
That's a lot of value to give to the new.
Yeah, to make him feel a little less. But there are days when I forget what I'm supposed to be doing, even after all these years.
Yeah.
And so the balance thing, I don't know that I'm that either. I hope on the outside.
Do you have to be here really late as the curator to like make sure everything's set up before a show exhibit?
Yeah, sometimes. It's about 50, 60-hour work week when we're installing a show, and I would love to be one of those curators that has the show finished up and ready days before the opening, but I'm not. We're usually putting in the finishing touches in a couple of hours before the show
event
opens.
planning and events like that.
Yeah, we've had some media people, like someone from the Times in the past several years come in and say, okay, when can we view the show before it opens? And I'm like,
the day before?
yeah, I mean, you can come in anytime, but it'll be in disarray until the opening, so.
Well, this current show, not to interrupt, This Is Me, you had a VIP night?
Yes.
So you see? You had it?
Yeah, but it was right before the
preview.
Right,
the first few hours.
Yeah, I was doing the lighting the night before, and
all of it.
Yeah, so it's just the name of the game.
So that just sounds like super busy. What made you want to do this? Like, how did you get into this line of work?
I got really, it's a blessing. When I went to UF and studied art history, I was very interested in that. Had no idea what I was going to do with a degree in art history. Never took a museum studies class or anything like that. I just knew a lot of dates, like we were talking about earlier. I had dates and time periods and styles of art in my head. And when I left Gainesville and moved back home to Pinellas County, I started putting out my resume to all the local arts organizations. And
because you're from St. Pete.
Because I'm from St.
Okay.
Pete, yes. And I got a copy of the then St. Pete Times, looked at the weekend section with all the gallery listings, and just started randomly sending out my resume. And then the Art Center, as it was called at the time, gave me a call, and they needed a curator, and I got the job. It's amazing. That was 20 years ago, and I still pinch myself that I landed this job. Yeah, it's a really
amazing.
A really great job. I'm very blessed to have.
So do you practice, or like do you do your own art, or?
I don't. When I was in college, again, I'm embarrassed to say this because of that, but I did.
The porcelain doll.
People would hire me to draw portraits of, I had a baby. Here's a picture of my baby. Draw this. It wasn't fine art or anything, but I did a little bit of that.
Commission work.
Yeah, I mean, yes, barely. And then my kids think it's fun to ask me to draw a panda, and I draw a panda for them, whatever, so I draw for them.
Like, do this. They're like, okay.
Yeah. they like that. They think I'm talented, I guess.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, otherwise.
You're their inspiration.
Yes, I guess.
So what time period or what kind of art would you consider your specialty? Like, what is your expertise in?
Really, at the end of the day, sometimes I feel like I'm not an expert in anything. When I was studying at UF, one thing, I don't know what it's like there now, but at the time, their program was set up to where you did not specialize in anything. You had to take a little bit of everything. But when we could take an extra class, contemporary art is what I like to take. So, but my senior thesis was on French and English Gothic cathedrals. So, which ended up being an amazing class, but it's not. I was not excited about it at all.
Cathedrals, Gothic cathedrals, like the one in Spain. Did you study those?
Yeah,
in Barcelona?
Well, we just did French and English ones.
Who is that?
Gaudi.
Gaudi.
Yeah,
those are. I saw one in person.
I did too. It's
it looks like it's dripping with.
Yeah, it's an amazing.
Was that in the class?
No, because we just did French and English, so not Spanish.
Another time.
So we did Notre Dame.
See, I'm not. I see things and I'm like, oh, cathedrals. I saw that.
Yeah, but now I would say, school was decades ago for me. So now I would say, because of the nature of what I do, I know more about contemporary art because that's what we do here.
But even that every day.
Yeah, but even that, it's very specific. I know a lot of local artists, obviously. Yeah. So the art scene here, I'm pretty familiar with.
Yeah, it's more modern here for sure.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah.
But would you like to include different kind of styles in the Morean Art Center, or are you mainly featuring just contemporary art?
Just contemporary art. That's pretty much all we do. We like to say we're the art of the last couple of years.
I like that.
So, in fact, a lot of times when we've had a members exhibition, sometimes people have brought us wet paint artwork.
Literally finished.
So we had to add to our members show entry form a couple of years ago that paint must be dry.
I saw that.
So, which sounds crazy, but that's
oil paint takes months to dry.
Exactly, but that's how contemporary we are. It's because people
right off the rack.
Yeah.
On the easel.
Yeah, exactly. And an exception to this, a slight exception, is the Morean turned 100 2 years ago, and I put together a centennial show for our galleries, and it was called 100 Years, 100 Artists. And it featured, I had the fun but daunting task of selecting 100 artists who were significant to our history, and finding one piece from each of those artists and displaying it in the gallery.
That must have been an experience.
It was so much fun to put together, but it was a really lot of work. And so for that, we had some work that was, 40, 50 years old, some older, because of the nature of that show. But that was kind of an exception. That's not what we normally do here, but that was fun
special.
to be able to do that.
How do you even go about finding those pieces and actually accepting them into your gallery?
For that particular show, it was really, in some cases, I knew the artists were still living. Probably in 65% of the show, the artists were still living, so I could just say, hey, bring me a piece. But I just had to find the collectors. It was through word of mouth, and there was one artist whose name is Winnie Long, and she was very significant to our history going back, 70, 80 years. And I could not find a work of art by her. And I thought, I have to have something of her because she was so important to us. And all we had was a bust of her that someone had made for her on her birthday, her 90th birthday, sometime in the 80s or the 70s. And I thought, okay, if all else fails, I can put that bust in there, but it wasn't really made by her.
Like a memory of her.
Yeah. And I was talking to the son, and oh my gosh, his name escapes me, but his mom is Mary Wyatt Allen, who's a well-known philanthropist here in St. Pete. Her family goes back a long way. And I was talking to him about another artist's work in her collection, and I happened to mention that I was looking for this artist, and he said, we have a ceramic sculpture that has these initials on the bottom of it. Do you think it's that artist? And I was like, yeah. So I went to his house, and there it was, and it was just, I wasn't even looking for it with him, but I just...
Wow,
that's crazy.
So there was a bunch of things that happened like that.
Yeah.
With that show. It was a really
How far
fun
in
show.
advance did you have to plan?
2 years.
Yeah.
And then this goes back to what I said earlier about us changing shows so quickly. I realized once the show was up that it was a 6-week-long show.
It needed to be long.
2 years of work, and the show was over in a second.
6 weeks. Did you push it out more? Or you couldn't.
No, I couldn't because I had another show scheduled right after that. And I was like, we did a book about it, and so it kind of lives on.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
The book catalog.
Yeah, but still, I just thought that's it.
That's a big feat to put under, to do here. That's amazing.
Yeah, I felt like it was we're not a museum, but I felt like it was a museum show. Mm-hmm. So,
congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's amazing. But you do 40 exhibitions a year, pretty
Something
much.
like that.
Do you see any changes coming to that, or do you want to keep it longer? Because I know the Dolly has shows for 4 to 5 months sometimes.
Yeah, museums have pretty long exhibitions because they're expensive,
right.
And shipping is just astronomical.
Yes, they have to.
Yeah, insurance and that sort of thing. We don't have that as much. A lot of our artists live nearby, so shipping isn't a big issue. But I would like to, in the future, stretch our shows out a little bit and be more thoughtful about the programming that goes along with it, activities that happen in the galleries, gallery talks. Right now, I just feel like as soon as I put up a show, I'm working on the next one, and I can't give a lot of thought to what happens while any given show is up. So I'm hoping to be able to, but we plan our shows so far in advance right now, I won't be able to do that until 2021.
Oh my God.
Do you think in 2021 you'll do, also incorporate, do you currently do installations, different installations, audio, unique experiences?
Sometimes. I love doing installations because people really love them.
Yeah, I've noticed that lately.
Yeah, being immersed in an environment, people people really respond to that, and I like doing those. So yes, I'd like to do more of that in the future. We've done lots of those over the years, and I like to include them regularly, but they're a little more labor intensive, and
unless it's like set up ready for you.
Yeah. So anything, honestly, anything that has anything to do with AV is kind of the bane of my existence. I'm not a computer savvy person. In the past, when we've tried to do things with audio and video, it's just
unless they help you.
Yeah, which is usually the case. But and our galleries, which are so beautiful and light filled, are very difficult to make dark for video and that sort of thing. Yeah. So there's that too. But we make it work when we need to. So
So like the art center is like very immersed within like the community. So do you only focus on local artists, or do you try to bring people from like all over the country?
We do both. So we're so blessed to have so many amazing local artists that live here. So we do show a lot of local artists. I mean, we'd be fools not to. And
it's only growing, the local art scene here.
Yeah, it's amazing. But at the same time, it gets a little self-indulgent, I think, when you keep showing local artists over and over again. So what I like to do is mix it up and have a balance of regional and national artists. My favorite thing to do is have a show that showcases both. You put out a theme and you have artists that are local that work in that theme or that style or whatever, and then you also invite other artists so that you can see, if you live here and you're an artist or just a member of our community, you can see, this is what this artist is doing. Ultimately, we're an educational facility, so we want to educate the public and our visitors on who are the local artists that live in our neighborhoods, and also what's happening in the art world as a whole. I try to balance that out, but I always remember we are a local art center, so
that's a foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like really cool that you're like educational. So what do you try to like teach like the kids that come here like for classes? What do you try to like give to them?
We have summer camp right now, and the students that come here, they get, it depends on who the teacher is, but they get versed in usually different kinds of art historical styles. They usually take them through the galleries, the teachers do, to show them what's happening here. Cool. So that's fun.
A gallery tour.
That's really cool. And they take them to the Chuguli collection across the street and to see a live glass blowing demonstration.
I haven't even seen one of those.
Oh, you need to. It's so fascinating. Cool. I've seen them, 100 times, and every time I take someone back there, this is so amazing.
So
So they get to see, hey, there's artists that are making a living doing this, or if they're not making a living, they live here and they make art, and so kids can see that it's possible. Yeah. Absolutely, it's not something that's just an abstract concept, but these are artists that live in your neighborhood that are making art. So.
Do they get to have their own little like show themselves?
They do. If you
that's so cute.
we have a
that's so sweet
under construction art gallery in our student gallery downstairs, the first floor of the Morean, and there's 10 weeks of summer camp, and we divide the gallery up into 10 partitions. So on Friday, after every week of camp is over,
show their work.
They can put their projects
people
up.
will come and see.
Yeah,
that's so sweet.
Yeah. So at the end of 10 weeks, it's all completed, and it looks crazy because it's just a hodgepodge of things, but it's
no one curated that. It's like, this is about their work.
No, but it's fun, and every week has a different theme. So every section, there's a commonality of a theme.
It all connects.
Yeah, it's still a lot to look at, but it's fun. Then kids can see their work on the wall.
Yeah, no, that's like really inspiring. Do kids like ever like follow you and see like what you do, like setting up exhibitions, or?
Sometimes I've had interns, high school interns over the years a few times. We don't have a regular program like that, but I've had high school kids interview me sometimes for papers or that are interested in what I do. So that's always fun and kind of humbling.
Yeah.
But cool.
So like when you're setting up shows, do you use like other shows to inspire you? Like what's your like thing that you follow that like?
There's a local artist, her name is Betsy Lester, and she has been actually installing all of our exhibitions for 30 some odd years. I would die without her. She's just wonderful. So usually how it works is I select the artist for the show, plan the show, select the work comes in, I arrange it in the gallery, and then she comes in and kind of helps figure out where things are going to go, especially during the members show when we have 200 random pieces. She comes in and just makes the wall look beautiful and makes it look like it's one cohesive whole.
Yeah.
So she's very inspiring to me when I'm hanging art in my own house or hanging art somewhere else. Or I always think of her and how she pairs things. My knee-jerk reaction is to have similar work hang together, but she is not like that. She says, well, no, this goes with this because
that's a gift.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's an art form in itself just to install a show. Yeah. So she is my inspiration. She is fabulous at that. So, and also when I'm out and about on vacation or visiting somewhere, I look and see, I'm looking at the art, but I'm also like, how did they hang that? Or how did they light that? I'm always interested in that. Or how did they make their wall labels? Things like that. I
do that too. I always at Miami Art Week, I always look at the section. I'm like, oh, they penciled that.
Yeah,
that's different. That's new.
Yeah.
People always recreate.
Yeah, Miami Art Week is a great example of that.
So many varieties.
Yeah, a lot of the pictures that I end up coming back with that you're shooting while you're there is not necessarily art that I like, although that's some of it, but it's look at this booth, this looks amazing, even though the art might not be fabulous, but
it's such a decision to make a wall completely painted black and then hang the work. Was that okay?
Yeah.
It's that's a whole science and art form itself to set up stage.
What are your main challenges with that? What's the most frustrating thing you encounter when you're setting up a show?
Most frustrating thing. Artists who don't wire their work across the back.
That was me. Oh my God! After I dropped it off, I go. A light bulb went off in my head when I was traveling.
Well,
but it was 3 inches.
Yeah.
I was like, that should be 5.
That is not a big deal.
When I thought of it, I was like, oh no.
And I hesitate to say this because I get
that
Frank, and I'm not even talking about yours.
No, I know.
But
funny.
But when a work is framed and it's, I've seen all kinds of things in my years here. You go and you just buy a frame from Walmart, and it's the frame that has
the flimsy,
whatever you call it, the thing that is just meant to stand up on and there's nothing to hang it from. And I get it that framing is expensive, and so my heart goes out to artists in that sense. But then, when you're hanging 200 pieces for the member show, and
you gotta make it easy.
20 of them are like that, and it just takes twice as long, 3 times as long to install something.
That's awesome.
But the other challenge for me is the time frame. We have a quick turnaround.
Well, question just to spin off that, I've been seeing a lot of not a trend, but objects, creating work on found objects, on stretched canvas and door. Do you see that happening in your future shows, and how do you go about setting that up? Or is it more traditional canvas?
I'm not seeing more of it. I mean, I've seen it through the years for sure. And for instance, we have some artists who send us work that's unframed that we hang up with magnets or something. Which we will do for certain shows if an artist is having not for the member show, but for an artist having a solo show, sometimes it's meant to be hung like that. And I know there's a lot of New York galleries that hang work like that, so there used to be kind of a stigma to, you can't hang unframed work, it's not professional. Now I don't think there's that.
Now I feel like it's a little bit more welcomed.
Yeah.
Because people want to see all mediums and different ways.
Yeah.
Especially in a contemporary art gallery, I feel like it's more accepted.
And I just had a conversation with an artist who has a show in Miami, and his work is all unstretched. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, they buy it that way.
Yeah.
And it sells. And I was like, it's just a unique conversation happening.
Yeah.
That I've been having lately with colleagues friends, that it's just a different way to present things. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think if you've been experiencing it more, or is it just overall the same?
I think it's overall the same, but like you said, I think the acceptance of it is more. I remember when I first started here, we had an artist who she painted on Mylar, and it was supposed to be just pinned to the wall, and it was kind of a big deal. My director was like, "Oh, this isn't going to be good," and it was fine. You know, It was hung in a grid. It looked very neat and clean, and really, to me, at the end of the day, it's what the artist wants. Like I said, the member show is different because that's something that we have to set up rules for. But if an artist is having a solo show and that's the way they want to present their work, I mean, as the curator, I advise them. I can say, this is what I think you should do, but I always like to respect how the artist wants to present their work. So, and as long as it's not damaging the work or damaging the artist's career, I don't know. I say, let's do it.
Okay.
Has there ever been something that you just straight up won't hang up or like won't put in the gallery?
Usually I know ahead of time what's coming, so I'm selecting it. So
you're prepared.
But again, I feel like I'm talking about the member show a lot because that's the one that's always the chaotic. You just never know what's coming in. One year, and this I can talk about it. I don't remember his name, and it was a long time ago, so I'm sure he won't be listening to this. But we had it was our annual holiday show, which is another member show, and the work that he brought was it was the 10 Commandments written on a piece of wood with nails in it, and the artist's blood was dripping down.
His literal?
His own blood, dried blood, was dripping down the front of it.
Okay.
Nothing says happy holidays like that.
What a unique piece for that show.
Yeah, so I talked to my director at the time. This was, almost 20 years ago, and she said, we're not hanging that. So, and I don't know if the artist never came in and noticed or... So I've got a couple of stories like that of pieces that have come in over the years, but
it's just like a social conversation itself.
It came from somewhere, but
it may not be appropriate for the theme of the curation.
But it might be for another show. So I try not to say never to anything because there's some things I like personally better than others, but I try not to have that factor in. So Thomas Kincaid probably we won't have a show of his work. Although we have a paint by numbers show in the gallery right now, and someone did a spoof of a Thomas Kincaid paint by number.
Wow, that's actually really cool.
Which is really amazing. It looks great. So
I have to see.
Never say never.
Yeah. So what has been your favorite show that you've put together here?
We've done some really great shows over the years, which I can say without being full of myself, because a lot of them I just was sort of along for the ride. I think the one I'm most proud of is the 100 year exhibition, just because that came together so beautifully and it was so much work and it ended up being really nice. My favorite, I might have to come back to that. We've done we did a tattoo related show that was really fun. It was 12 years ago now. That was a lot of fun to put together. Yeah, and it was back when, everyone has tattoos now, but at the time, it wasn't really
as accepting.
Yeah, so that was a fun show to put together.
It's a little taboo, a little scandalous.
Yeah, back then. Now it would be like,
all right.
So we had a show, again, this was 10 years ago too, of monumental ceramics work by June Kaneko, who lives in Nebraska, and that was really crazy to put together. It was a great thing to have his work here, but his sculptures, they're taller than me and weigh a lot, and we had to have lifts and cranes in the gallery, and it was really scary uncrating everything.
Oh my gosh.
But that was a really good show as well. So
Well, you feature a lot of your members' work. How many member shows are there per year?
Every year we have 2 member shows. We have one during the summer, which is happening right now, and then we have one during the holidays. So I always encourage artists, if they're looking to get into the gallery immediately, to join, because you're guaranteed a spot in both of those
Oh, that's really
shows. Because otherwise, you have to go through the application process, and even if your work is selected, it'll be 3 years before
cool. Yeah.
you're in a show.
So it just takes a long time for.
Yeah, because you plan so
We
far.
plan. We like to be set in stone about 2 years out. So right now, 2022 is what we're looking at. So
That's crazy.
it is.
It is wild.
I know. But that's why we added this pop-up space in our gallery, because that allows us to be a little more nimble.
Plus.
If we have somebody that comes to us, 3 months out and says, "Hey, I'd really like to show this work," then we can be a little more flexible. But even that, I mean, right now I'm booked 6 months out for that, so but it allows us a little more flexibility.
Yeah. So how do you get people to come and look at these shows? Like, what's your best marketing tool for artists to be seen?
So we just got a new marketing manager yesterday, and she and I were discussing this. We use a lot of social media. We don't have we're a nonprofit, so our marketing dollars are not what we would like. But we do a lot of social media, a ton of emailing. Personally, I miss the days when we would mail things out, because you get so much email now, people tend to just delete everything. But if you get something in your hand, a paper invitation or a postcard, you tend to say, "Hey, I'm going to stick this on my fridge and go to this," which we still do, both of those things. What works the best? I don't know. I mean, we get a lot of
Branding. Just always be in their faces and awareness, I would think.
Yeah. So we probably need to work on that, because a lot of people don't. I said to our marketing manager, we've been here 100 years, and I'm amazed at the amount of people I talk to who come in and say, "I didn't know this place was here."
Yeah.
It's a big red building. How do you know?
In the middle of the downtown. Well,
Yeah.
the whole right there.
Yeah.
Which
I didn't discover it until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, see,
So.
which is very common. Now, it's not, I don't think we're as unknown as we were about 20 years ago, because 20 years ago when we bought this building, it was in the middle of nowhere. Downtown was over by the Vinoy, and that was about it, the Dolly. But now we're in the middle of it. We have this giant apartment complex being built right next door to us, and one that was just built a couple of years ago across the street. And there's a Publix across the street, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So
I go there
come a long way.
All the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you're associated with other museums here, galleries here, like the Chuli, and what else?
We own the Chibuli collection, so we have 4 locations.
That's a big deal. I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, marketing.
Ah!
But that's a good example.
And it's your 100th year?
Yes.
Are you guys doing a big push for that?
Well, it was our 100th year in 17.
And that was the 100 show? The 100? Okay.
Yeah,
that was clever.
Yeah. We own and operate the Chibuli collection, which is across the street from us. We are right now sitting in the Morean, which is the mothership. Behind the Morean, we have our glass studio, which has live glass blowing demonstrations several times a day, and classes, and then there's a store of local glass artist work. And then we have our Morean Center for Clay, which is in a historic train station over in the Warehouse Arts District, about a mile away from the Morean here, where all of our clay classes take place. It's a huge building. It's amazing. If you haven't been, you should go. So there's 4 locations. So
that's a lot.
Big, sprawling.
Yeah, it's got arms.
Thing. Yeah.
It has many arms.
Yeah. Which is new. I mean, when I first started here, it was just this building.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's like kind of crazy though, because like you're giving like more opportunity to artists, and I think that's like amazing. Mm-hmm. So like, how do you just feature them here, or can you feature them at the other locations too?
We have rotating art exhibitions in the other locations. Matt Sheenan works at the Morean Center for Clay, and he's does what I do over there, basically, among other things. They have a smaller staff over there. but he arranges their art exhibitions. They have a gallery over there, and they feature, obviously, artists that work in ceramics. At the Chihuly collection, it's a collection, so it's pretty much stays the same, but they do have one small gallery that Andy Slough, who's the director of the Chihuly collection, he curates that space, and it's almost always a glass-related exhibition, sometimes an exhibition related to someone who has worked with Dale Chihuly at one time. But so there's always something new to see when people come and visit. We also have rotating exhibitions in the lobby of the Hermitage, which is a luxury apartment complex that's across from, so you have the Morean, then you have the Chihuly collection, then you have the Publix, and then you have the Hermitage, and it's about 300 and some odd units, and they have a beautiful lobby that we use as a satellite gallery. We show local artists work in there.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah,
oh my god.
It's a lot.
So you're everywhere pretty much. You're helping local
they're
artists.
all over St. Pete.
All over. So what advice would you give to like any local artists out there looking to come here and show off their work?
Any gallery that you want to show in, make sure you research the gallery first. I'm amazed at sometimes over the years the artists that come in or send me images of their work, and it's not anything that would fit. And if you just came in here once, you would see that. A lot of the commercial galleries, they're very specific about what they want to see, so all you have to do is look at them online. I was going to say visit them in person, but now you don't even have to do that. You can look online and see, if they don't have any landscape artists that they're representing, they probably don't want one. It's not that they're looking for one, so simple
That's good
things
advice.
like that.
It is good advice.
And develop a body of work. There's a few artists that I know that maybe have one or two pieces and they send them out, and that's not, as a curator, you're always picturing how things look in a gallery, and you can't go by a couple of pieces. Or artists who submit a range of styles. And there are plenty of artists that work in different styles. I know you're one of them. You do all kinds of things.
Yeah, different.
Yeah, but when you're applying for something, just focus on one or two of those. Like if you can send in 10 images, do 5 of this style and 5 of another,
versus
or 10
different styles.
Yeah, because again, you're looking for cohesiveness. You're looking to say, okay, how is this going to look in a gallery? And if it looks like 10 different artists did it, it's just kind of confusing. And even if they're good, it just shows that there's not one body of work that's well thought out. And there might be, you just might not have. In other words, I think artists think you can impress someone by showing everything you can do.
So it's true, and they think that.
Yeah.
They,
and I get that.
Maybe I'll help them by showing all these different styles.
Yeah, and it's
but that's a great advice for
sort
artists.
of the opposite if you just really focus in on one thing. I mean, in your studio practice, by all means, focus on 10 different things, but when you're submitting for something,
has to be
really it should be a little
presentable,
more laser focused.
Yeah, like a body of work.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. That's like really good advice, because I always tend to do that. I have 15 different styles.
Sure, artists can be scatterbrained.
It's natural, and I totally get it why artists do that. So but it's just, and it sounds counterintuitive, but it's really not. So.
Yeah, that was really good advice. And so where can I find more information for the Morean Art Center?
You can go to our website, MoreanArtCenter.org, and we have all kinds of things on there. We have a page on there for artists. It's called Artist Opportunities, and if you look at that, it shows some of the exhibitions that we have coming up where we have open calls, and there's also a form on there you can fill out if you're interested in exhibiting at the Morean. These are the hoops you have to jump through to do that.
That's awesome. Well, I just want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us. It has been amazing. Great advice. I've learned a lot.
Good.
I'm sorry I drew me, and not you.
We'll have
made
to
you
make
look like
up
a
for
doll.
that.
Round
Thank
2.
you so much for your
My
time.
pleasure. Thanks for doing this. This is wonderful.
Awesome.
Another episode of Art Talks.
Art Talks.
Thank you.